Tomorrow, a special Michigan House task force will start to look at how to make our kids and our schools safer.
The bipartisan effort is being launched this week following the Oxford school shooting on November 30th.
4 students killed, 7 others injured, including a teacher. 15-year-old Ethan Crumbly is charged as an adult in the case.
His parents, James and Jennifer Crumbly, are due in court tomorrow. They are accused of giving their son access to a gun.
The safety task force launching tomorrow includes 8 Michigan House members from both political parties. They will look at security, mental health, staffing, and funding. They will want to hear from all stakeholders, experts, and you.
Tonight, 7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner is taking us in depth for a look at what we can expect.
First meeting on Friday will set the agenda. With COVID, they will meet virtually like this. It will start out and may stay closed and private. They say that may actually allow more candid participation.
I think to some degree, we're going to be building the plane as we run.
He's a Democrat from Canton.
It is something that's been on my heart for a while, just school mental health in general.
He's a Republican co-chair of the task force from West Michigan.
Immediately, we heard cries for gun control, right? And the issues about guns. And as soon as it happened, we knew that would happen. And it's not something we can avoid.
She's a Republican from Chesterfield. They're all coming in with agendas.
We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about COVID, the labor shortage that's affecting schools right now, the politicalizations of vaccines and wearing masks in schools and what's being taught in schools.
But don't think this will turn into a free-for-all.
Some things on the far left and on the far right are not going to get done, but there are things that we can accomplish, I think, specifically in the mental health world.
Oxford is just the latest American school shooting in more than 2 decades. Many best practices have been written and revised over the years. The 8 task force members were picked by the House Speaker to get results.
Hopefully try to put the political theater beside and come together with just common sense ideas that everyone can agree on.
On December 14th, the Oxford School Board held the one and only public meeting and got an earful from angry parents.
Are you lying to us again? This tragedy has shown me the loss of trust, but it's what we didn't do that was the problem.
Shane Gibson told us for this report he and other parents are still angry about a lack of information from school officials. He says clear backpacks now required won't solve problems. Metal detectors, he says, are a no-brainer.
But at the other end of the spectrum, you can't have people complaining that now the kids are waiting in line to get in school, right? So I fear it will never make anyone happy.
Pamela Hornberger is a 23-year teacher and former Lance Cruz school board member before elected to the State House.
I think Oxford was actually one of the schools who spent money on some devices that were used to better barricade and lock doors.
The day of the shooting still has major open questions. The evidence is Ethan Crumbly drew this picture that was photographed by a teacher who alerted the office. Ethan's parents were called to the school, but refused to take him home. He was returned to class. A couple of hours later, school surveillance video shows Ethan doing the mass shooting. On that drawing, a gun. The thoughts won't stop. Help me. A student shot twice. A bullet. Blood everywhere. My life is useless. A laughing face.
As far as second guessing the decisions that were made at Oxford, I am never going to do that because I wasn't there and I don't know what happened, but it is something that we need to think about.
Shane Gibson says what school officials did needs to come out through a legal due process.
We can't expect school counselors who are stretched really thin, doing testing and scheduling and everything else they're expected to do to actually be able to form relationships with kids.
The task force co-chair says this issue will get a lot of attention and possibly the first action.
I for sure don't want this task force to, throw some things out there that just make everybody feel good. And, we as legislators pretend that we're doing something. That's not what we're after. There are things emotionally that I've struggled with. And so I do think I identify with people that have mental health struggles.
This work may go on several months, and they say will result in bipartisan bills that go to the governor. They also say they will set up a system to hear from everyone, including you. Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.